Hey, you got the morning show here on Raglan Community Radio. That's Laugh Kitten by Parabola West. And we have Amy from Parabola West in the studio right now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, did that work? Say good morning again.
I'm not sure if this is...
Hold on. There we go.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah, we've pressed all the right buttons now. That's for the people who are watching on a video. You'll be fine, except you can't see Amy through the microphone. Hey, I know what to do. We're going to fix it quickly.
Oh, great. Look at you.
Yeah, this happens a lot.
No, this is great. Trying to do too many things at once.
So there we go. We're sorted.
We're good.
Yeah, now I'm just hiding behind my microphone, which is fine by me.
Thank you.
So, Parabola West has a new EP out.
Yes.
Tomorrow,
Friday the 13th.
Friday the
Ooh.
13th. And so for the people overseas, do they have to wait for their Friday?
They do.
Because it's in like another 16 hours or something in the US, isn't it?
It is, but like spoiler alert, if you go to Bandcamp, I'll release it manually on Friday the 13th here.
Okay.
So you can get it wherever you are in the world on Bandcamp.
And also in Raglan, you just heard it now. Well,
Yes.
you heard part of it now.
Yeah.
That was actually the closing track to the EP, confusingly.
Yep.
Thinking about that now.
Well, you've already played the opening track because I
Yes.
released that as a single back in March. It's called Almost Dawn.
Almost Dawn.
Yeah.
And so, the EP is called The Wolf We Feed.
Yes.
So, is that as deep as it sounds?
It is even deeper, Aaron. Yeah, well, the idea of the EP came from this legend of the two wolves. And, you know, if there's anybody that isn't familiar with it, the legend is there are two wolves inside each of us. One is the wolf of light and hope, and the other is the wolf of darkness and despair. And they battle for attention within us our whole lives. And the one that's strongest at any given moment is the one that we feed. And so this EP is kind of a love letter to hope and light, and it's the wolf that I want to feed right now.
Where does that come from? Where does that? Because I haven't heard of it. But.
Well, my understanding is that it's an old Native American legend, but I don't know if it's identifiable exactly where its origin is. It's like any great story. It's a metaphor, but whoever put that together initially, I don't know who to credit.
So you were in the studio with Almost Dawn a few months ago? When was that?
It was mid-March.
Okay, so that was... Were the other songs not quite ready at that point, or this is just your release schedule?
Yeah, no,
the videos together.
They weren't ready. I had the idea that I wanted to do the release. Yeah, they weren't ready. I've been working on getting the visuals together, and I think this particular project, it didn't really feel like I needed the pace to be stressful.
Yeah.
I kind of don't feel, I just kind of let it just sit and say, well, when is this going to come out? When will things be ready?
Yeah.
I just sat back and let it be ready in its own time. And now's good.
And these are all instrumentals?
They are all instrumentals.
So I was kind of curious, now that the Almost Dawn's been out for a little while, you've got like this hardcore fan base around the place. Some of you guys are listening now, I'm sure, or watching now. How have they reacted to something that's a little bit different from your usual?
They love it. I mean, I'm really, really so fortunate that the people who are interested in the kind of stuff I'm doing, they're kind of all in on it.
Yeah.
And this music, like everybody, we all have different parts to ourselves, and you don't just like one type of music or one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's just it's an expansion of sharing my creative self, and I think that that's appreciated by people who are interested.
And we talked about in that interview about the kind of there's a healing purpose to this.
Yeah, there's
quite explicitly, really.
Yeah, I'm very intentional with this particular EP of saying out loud the fact that I'm putting in specific frequencies to nurture the nervous system. I've employed some techniques that I've been experimenting with over the years for reducing stress and impacting like brainwave function, and just trying to really soothe. So it's something that I've been doing for a little while in my music, but this project is the first time I'm kind of coming out and saying, hey, I'm intentionally doing this.
Yeah.
There are binaural beats in it. Everything's tuned to 4/3/2. I've got crystal singing bowls in the track. So there's just a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot.
And we were playing it really loud off the air just before, but we didn't really play it for long enough for it to like overwhelm us, which is one way of doing it.
Yeah, well, it's
overwhelm your vibration by just turning the volume up as loud as you can bear.
I mean, that's the only way to listen to music, isn't it?
Is that what it's like at your place?
Yeah,
we can hear it from half a kilometre out.
Totally.
Yeah. So, but the other way, of course, is with like the binaural beats, like the earbuds are the optimal.
Yeah,
thing
I think
for that, aren't they?
Headphones are probably going to be the best experience, but if you don't have them or you're just not interested in that, then it's still beautiful.
Yeah. Now, I was thinking we should play, because this is a bit of a, you called it a sonic journey. You didn't like the word journey, but we're going to stick with that.
Well, it's not that it's just like, isn't everybody's like, oh, my music is a sonic journey.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it makes me want to roll my eyes at myself,
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play sort of in the background, and you won't be able to hear it.
Okay.
Unless we give you some headphones, but we didn't do that at the start.
That's okay.
So I'm just putting Almost Dawn on in the background. Just,
okay.
Let's not talk for a second. We'll see where the levels are at. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Cool.
So I put about 10 dB below our voice.
Fantastic.
And so this is, what is Almost Dawn? This is, normally that's the darkest time of night, right, psychologically?
It is, but it's also the time before the light.
Right, so it's the anticipation.
So this is the opening of the EP, this track, and it's the beginning of self-exploration. It's the intention to take a look at what's going on the inside and be willing to take that journey inwards.
Yeah.
So it's an invitation. It's an invitation from yourself to yourself.
Yeah. Now, being an instrumental,
yes,
I haven't played it that much, but I did play it on a day. I can't remember why now. I was either feeling stressed or something like that.
You were?
During the show, and so I thought, we'll play this, and everyone can chill out.
Good.
Yeah.
How was the feed? What'd you think? You're like, don't know.
I'm trying to remember is what I'm trying to do. No, it was good. I mean, I knew it would be. Yeah. Yeah, because there's music with a fast beat that will get you pumping, and there's music that will slow you down and soothe you, and it's obviously that's where it fits.
The thing is that intuitively, we all really understand how music does impact our mood, but as soon as you start explicitly saying this is how and this is why, people get a bit freaked out. They're like, oh, it's so woo-woo. But we all know. Some songs will lift you up, make you want to dance. Some songs will make you really introspective. Some songs will break your heart in the first bar. It's
non-controversial, really.
Like, we all get it. It's just I'm just explaining what I'm doing on purpose in this particular project.
But it sounds like you're very deliberate about it. I mean, are you analysing it in a kind of a scientific way?
Well, I am, specifically with Almost Dawn. It was the first track I released with this really intentional work. And so this song is involved in a university study of brainwave activity and cortisol levels and stress response. So I don't have anything to report on that yet, because that is a project that's underway. But I can give you the exclusive scoop on that, is that I am a natural skeptic, and I want to be able to say, this is what I'm doing, and also here are the scientific results, here's the study, thanks for asking.
All right, so that's Almost Dawn. I'm going to jump now, even though it's still kind of playing. Okay. Very rudely.
No, it's all right.
Can I press that button? I can. So we're going to jump into Fairy's Tale, which is the second track.
Yes, okay.
Now, fairies are part of your iconography, your imagery.
Yes.
That you traditionally have had around your music?
Yes. Yeah. Fairies and elves and hobbits and wizards and a lot of fantasy elements. But this track is where we start to see the different sides of ourselves, and we come to terms with some of the shadow work we've got to do, some of the inner dark fairy.
Okay, so
this one's...
The music's not fully soothing then.
This music isn't... This is the tension that we need to really look at ourselves. And then if you feel like this one's maybe left you a bit unsettled, don't worry. The next two tracks are going to bring you home.
I mean, do you listen to your own music first of all?
Yes, it's awesome.
That's good. That's what we want to hear. Because if you didn't like your music,
who doesn't listen to their own music?
I don't. I'm not a musician, so I don't know.
Oh my gosh!
It's like if you ask me, do I listen to my own interviews? Sometimes.
Well,
it's always a bit awkward.
I mean, I don't feel ashamed to say I love my music.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We would hope you would. Really,
Yeah.
Any musician. Yeah. Yeah. So where was I going with that?
I don't know. Maybe you weren't expecting
so
that.
No. I kind of was. I was hoping for it anyway.
Yes.
Have you like, like made a bath and like got the speakers around the bath and listened to this EP right through? Have you done something like that?
I have not in the bath, but I have definitely. I've listened in headphones many times through.
Yeah.
Just to get the sense of the rhythm of it. And when I was doing the music visualizers, I was listening to it a lot, trying to get what I was seeing in my head onto the computer. So I've done a lot of listening through.
I imagine it would be hard for you to actually... It might be hard for you to get into the vibe that you want the music to put the person into because you're so busy analysing it.
Actually, that's how I know the song's finished, is when I stop analysing it and I'm in the... As soon as the song feels like how it felt when I knew I needed to write it, because everything comes from a feeling of like, I've got to get this feeling out.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the song brings that feeling back, then I know it's finished. That's like in production, that's how I know.
Okay. So we're listening to Fairy's Tale, the second track, the tension track.
Yes.
The going deep and a little bit dark track.
Yeah. There's some...
I won't ask what comes up for you right now.
There's some fairy magic in that one. Are we moving on to... I can see you clicking buttons.
Yeah, so here comes Fever Dream.
Yes.
So this is the third track, so we're halfway through the journey.
Yeah.
I used the J word.
The J word.
We're halfway through the process.
The Fever Dream, is that playing now? I can't hear it.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry,
so Fever Dream...
Actually, I could do this, but then you'll hear your own voice.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Fever Dream is like being underwater. You're sort of in the safety of being underwater, and it's where a little bit of the healing can begin.
Yeah.
I actually wrote Fever Dream when I was deeply sick with pneumonia, and I actually wrote it. It came out of a fever dream.
Okay.
So it was the turning point for when I started healing from that sickness. And so I came out of it with a piano riff, but I felt this very watery energy, and so I started writing it then.
Yeah, I'm just listening to the piano now. So we're used to the term riff with the guitars, obviously. How long is the riff?
Oh gosh, how long is it? I mean, I can't hear where we are up until the point, but there's this sort of it returns. It returns over and over again with slight variations.
Okay.
But in this particular track, if you're interested in nerding, there's a 40 hertz low hum, which has been shown in studies to be amazing for brain health. You can't hear it. It's actually outside of the range. No, they'll be
outside of... Yeah. When I was young, I would have heard it.
You can feel it.
Oh, 20, yeah. If you're really young, you might be able to hear 40 hertz.
Maybe. It's very low. It's a very low frequency, but it's... in the sub, you can feel it. And if you have your headphones on, and they're good ones, you can...
I don't think they're that good. I don't usually buy, like, really... They're nice, but they're not that good because it's just for the DJs.
It's fair enough.
So... Actually, seriously, the DJs who really love their music, they bring their own expensive ones.
Yeah.
But nobody leaves expensive
headphones
in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go pretty extreme on headphones. I've certainly gone down that rabbit hole.
Have you got some nice headphones at your place?
Not yet, but I've got a shopping list of of things that I would love, yeah.
Yeah. So we're listening to the third track, Fever Dream. This is emerging from the abyss. That's my phrase.
Yeah.
Abyss is probably... You don't want people to go into an abyss through this journey, do you?
Not a negative abyss, but you just go as deeply as you want. Whatever you're ready for. Whatever you're prepared for.
Yeah, all right. Shall we... Well, it feels rude to cut the track off. Let me ask you a question. Who is... Normally you say to musicians, who's your inspiration? Is there an inspiration for this kind of thing? I'm not sure... I've actually really struggled to find
like sound-alike artists with this type of thing.
Yeah.
And because this is technically going to be under the New Age category, it's my first release in that space.
Yeah.
And that's not something I've really lent into before. So I don't really know. I couldn't really put my finger on a particular artist and say this is a huge influence. Just all the expansive stuff that people do. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Agnes Obel. I've been listening to Ivor's new album. These are artists from
Ivor.
Yeah, these are artists from Scandinavia and different places and I think that's where a lot of like I find a lot of home for my elven lore and my fairy lore and that kind of a cultural fit. And also I've got a genealogical background from that area, and so it's an area of interest. But
okay, now I don't know. We're now getting into Laugh Kitten. Hold on, just So can you hear that? Is it not playing anything? Okay. Something else is broken.
It's okay.
It's supposed to come out of a speaker over there.
It did before.
But not now. Oh, no, it won't because your mic's on, that's right. It's very complicated, this mixing desk.
You're doing great.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure the equipment you use, mixing desks that musicians use, are a lot more complex than this one. All right, so this is Laugh Kitten. Why'd you call it Laugh Kitten?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So you're asking me about the riffs before. So there's this kind of pan flute.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Like shamanic thing going on. And back when I was writing that, my husband David was hearing it in the background, and it was at a time in our lives where our cat was being a total like mischief troll. And for whatever reason, he was talking to the cat in tune with the song, and he just said like, "You make me laugh, kitten. Make me laugh, kitten."
Yep.
And I was finished with the session. I closed the session down. I came back to it later, and I named it Laugh Kitten. And it was just a working title. It was never meant to be the title. And every step along the way, I was like, I gotta change that title. It's terrible. And I never did, because by the end of it, I was like, I think it's Laugh Kitten. It doesn't have any...
There's a lightness to it, or an absence of heaviness. You can't feel heavy when you're thinking about a kitten.
I mean, when you think about love and light, laughter and kittens, I mean... Maybe it was meant to be.
Yeah.
But that's the reason.
So that's interesting. Yeah. But it is... There's a thing, like we just had Art to Wear. I don't know if you went to Art to Wear.
I didn't. You missed it.
Well, you can still see the exhibition at the Old School today.
I will go.
But
I love it.
The thing I love about that is the same thing I said about calling the track Laugh Kitten, which is that the seriousness of it, the seriousness of the art world is absent from Art to Wear.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a freedom to the creativity that you don't get in other forms of art, I feel.
Yes. I think there's a nuance of absurdity that's allowed.
Yeah.
And that's so freeing. There's a comedic impulse that's allowed, and I think that makes art better. That makes everything better.
It relaxes you into... You need to connect to wherever your inspiration comes from. And if you're too serious, sometimes it doesn't work, and laughing, I think, can be a way to get you there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, laughing is, as they say, the best therapy. But laughing can
they do
get you... Yeah, I mean, that's why comedians can get away with saying the most pointed things, because it gets in when we have a history of cultures, the court jester. I mean, it's the job to poke fun at things.
To relieve the tension.
It's
interesting. Just as Laugh Kitten's fading out now, that's... You go through the journey, you go deep, you come through the fever dream, you come out and have a laugh. I don't say have a laugh sounds...
You can come out and you can actually have a laugh at yourself and just go, ha, there I am. Well, that was interesting.
All right, now I don't know what to do because the song's finished in the background. Why 432 hertz? Can you just explain that? Because I see that a lot, but sometimes people don't know what that is, really.
Well, it's just a way of tuning your music. It refers specifically to using the note A as the kind of barometer for tuning. Yeah. So everything gets sort of tuned to A being 432 hertz.
Okay, so you start there and then...
And you kind of work it out. So everything's in tune with itself, with each other.
But what's the 432 for? Why does that resonate for us?
So the reason why 432 is used is it resonates very well with the natural world. So when we're recording samples of nature sounds, and it kind of dates back to learning about... So back in the 1950s, there was a scientist called Schumann, and he was a physicist, and he was measuring the frequencies of the ionosphere. And he recognized, and it's called Schumann's frequency, and he recognized, oh, there's something happening here. The Earth has a sort of hum, a sort of heartbeat hum. There's a sound, and so the idea is that's sort of just under 8 hertz. And based on that, the scale kind of goes on from that as base point. And you find that when you tune things in 432 hertz, they resonate really well with water, with plants, with our human cells. I don't know if you've ever seen these things on you can watch them on YouTube, where you can get a plate and you can put like salt on it, and you put different sound vibrations through it.
And it forms patterns. Yeah, I have seen those.
So 432 will form very specific, very coherent patterns that are repeatable. And 440, which is the more typical, will also form a bit more of like a chaos pattern, but there's something specific about things tuned to 432 that have a clarity and like a mathematical pleasure around. There's something going on there, and it's an understudied area, but it's so fascinating.
So the 440, which is kind of standard, was that relatively arbitrary how that came about?
Well,
I
think there are a lot of different theories on how that came about, and I'm going to just sort of say, if anybody's interested, go Google all the different ideas about it.
Go down that rabbit hole yourself.
But the idea is that maybe it's not the most calming. It's a frequency that's maybe it gets your attention, but maybe not for the most healthy reasons. Oh,
like a Facebook post is designed to get your attention.
A little bit.
Well, that's an extreme.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go down the kind of the path of. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, definitely like Google. But again, be skeptical, because if you think that 432 is just a load of crap, just check it out, and maybe it is. But remain curious, because that's really how all of this came about. As I started learning about things, and I got curious, and I thought, oh, that seems a bit crazy. That's probably a bunch of hooey. Yeah. And then I looked into it, and I thought, oh, well, maybe there's something to it. And the more I delved, I thought, oh, something in my awareness is changing about all of this, and how all of this is connected. And I can't quite put my finger on it, but I feel like I'm on the track.
So can you feel the effect yourself? Like, is it happening at that level, or is it a bit more of an article of faith?
Yeah, I think that whenever you are observing yourself, like, am I noticing this? Am I not? It can be really difficult to know. There's other music coming from somewhere.
Yeah. Oh. My speakers are louder though. Just saying.
So, I think over time, as I've been doing a lot more listening to music in these frequencies and making it, like, I've noticed a change in my own life, and just little like micro decisions, like deciding to drink more water and meditate and all of those types of things. It's like feeding that wolf bit by bit.
Right.
So it's a kind of a compounding.
Are we calling it the good wolf? We're feeding the good wolf?
I think that they're both important. It's not so much the good and the bad, because you do need contrast in your life, right? You need some level of darkness and despair in your life in order to really know what you do want.
Right.
So it's not about all of this and none of that.
So what words do you use instead of good and bad? You might have used it at the start.
I don't know. I should probably think about how to articulate it in a concise way.
Dark and light.
I call it hope and despair.
Okay. So that, folks, we're talking to Amy from Parabola West and about the new EP, which is called The Wolf We Feed.
Yeah.
So we've returned full circle to that. So the music, I quite like doing the interview with the music in my headphones.
Cool.
It has changed my approach, I think, a little bit. I think we've kind of... Oh, we need to know so this EP's been released tomorrow.
It's being released tomorrow.
Or if you're in the US, it might be a couple of days.
It'll be
a day and a half.
It will be Friday the 13th wherever you are.
Did you choose Friday the 13th on purpose?
Kind of.
Kind of. You're like, that's a good opportunity.
It's a good Friday. And I made a little joke on an Instagram reel where I said it's not like a spooky magic of Friday the 13th. It's like spooky action at a distance magic, which for anybody who's familiar with quantum...
You're quoting Einstein at this
entanglement.
point. Yeah.
Well,
is that in here as well? We've got quantum entanglement lessons from there for the music.
This is all part of the same mysterious phenomenon. Like, how do all these things do what they do magically? So this is all part of the same thing.
Things we don't understand yet. Okay, and where can people find it? All online platforms?
All the online platforms, and I will be rolling out the beautiful visualizers on social media and YouTube over the coming days. So I'll probably release like one a day just to sort of keep it going, because you gotta keep the party going for a couple of days with new things.
Yeah, of course. And if people want to support you by, instead of buying it or paying on Spotify, to buy someone else's, Bandcamp the way to go?
Yeah, Bandcamp, or you can go directly to my website, which is www.parabolawest.com, and there's a link to my shop, and I will be selling it there as well as a digital download with the video visualizers.
Okay, and you got any merch?
I've got some Wolf merch coming out.
Right.
It's not available yet, but watch this space because it's pretty cool.
I know, because people like merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hardcore fans.
Great question, though.
They demand it.
Yes.
I see people on YouTube channels saying, there's a guy who dug this big hole under his garage in a secret tunnel.
As you do.
Well, if you're a YouTuber, all sorts of things are on the table. Anyway, people wanted him to send them jars of the dirt from under the house. And he's like, he thinks it's crazy, but they had a makers festival where people could meet the YouTubers, and he brought some along, and they were snapped up. And he thinks people are crazy, and he keeps saying, I think you guys are crazy, but you keep wanting it, so here's some more dirt.
I would love to have requests for dirt, but...
It's very easy to provide.
I think, yeah. But digital downloads, I got you if you want some of those.
Those are sorted already.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. All right, Amy, it's been awesome to talk to you and hear
Likewise.
about this new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're going to be playing live. Is this hard to do live?
Yeah, I haven't figured out how I'm going to do this live, but I think I'll probably end up doing like a listening party, and I'll play the crystal singing bowls that are in the music with the listening party. Yeah. And just I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I am offering crystal singing bowl sessions in Raglan, so people can contact me for that.
You told me about that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we're going to have a little break.